Is there anything they can't show us on TV today? I mean, it just really seems like they just keep trying to top themselves every year and get a little wilder. And on one hand, I understand that times change and we get older and a lot of us are adults and we can handle these things, some of these things, and that's well and good, but when it's being used for good. But a lot of the times when we're dealing with the elite, it's not for good. And that's the problem. And there's one of the things they like to do with how far we've come in pushing the envelope on things, and that's a little thing called predictive programming. Now, if you've clicked on this video or you find anything I've done so far on this channel interesting, you've probably heard of predictive programming. It's something you're going to come across pretty early on in your waking up or in your research experience. But if you haven't, that's completely fine. I want my channel to be, friendly to people who are new to the knowledge or the experience of waking up. We're going to talk a little bit about what predictive programming is for a second. To make it simple, predictive programming is nothing more than when the elite, they want to do something or they want to introduce something to us that's a little out there or a lot out there or outlandish or something that's not good or what we really want, but they have to make us want it. And they start showing us things before they drop it on us. See, an example of this would be how we were already getting programmed to view Middle Easterners as terrorists long before 9/11. And so by the time 9/11 came along, we'd already be ready to go at the drop of a hat to think, oh, Middle Easterner equals bad, equals scary, equals terrorist. Already. Don't you ever wonder why we were so quick to jump on that? Not really, nobody was really questioning anything. It just made sense to you. Because we were already being taught to look at them like that. And there's a lot of evidence that predates 9/11 to show us this. Another example would be the alien agenda. That's something that's going on right now you can try to catch. And for years, they've been trying to prep us with the idea of there could be aliens, there could be space beings out there, little Martians to come knock on your window at night. It's a possibility. E.T.'s your friend. Roger the alien lives down the street. They've been getting you ready. And, the alien deception is one of, if not their biggest goal right now. They can do a lot with that. Now, what inspired this video is I read an article about this upcoming TV series called Preacher. You've probably heard of it. If you haven't, depending on what you find to be shocking, you might be in for something. But one thing that really stood out to me was that the article I read talking about the show just blatantly puts it out there about how we've been prepped to accept such a show. And I thought we could go through that article for a second together today and just see how they're just putting it all out there now. Right away, we can see that we're in for something. The title sits here and tells us, Review. AMC's Preacher's pilot is everything you're not supposed to do on TV. So that sounds great. That sounds exactly like what we need to be coming on right now. So I don't want to sit here and read the whole article with you, but I will be linking it below so that you can check it out for yourself. But the main part I wanted to get into, I've already highlighted, so we can just get right into it. First line, with its mix of dark humor, profanity, blasphemy, gore, and general weirdness, Garth Ennis's Preacher comic was long thought unadaptable to film. Again, they are really hammering it in here to you, just letting you know it's going to be some effed up mess. And I would say we probably won't enjoy it, but hey, they know we will enjoy it. They've gotten us ready to enjoy it, and let's talk about that. And yet, it probably couldn't have been done until now. Daredevil and Jessica Jones first had to prove there was an appetite for shows based on legitimately darker, not just more violent, characters. The Walking Dead had to so saturate us with blood and guts that Preacher's moments of bone-breaking and heart-ripping, while intense, could feel restrained by comparison. Adult Swim shows like Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, needed to establish that a jarring mix of tones can be, in and of itself, an overall tonal choice. Oh, and South Park had to blaze a trail making clear that making fun of Tom Cruise's peculiar religion doesn't necessarily lead to terrifying lawsuits. You know, in this article highlights to you exactly what they do. They give us these shows, these movies, these songs, these performances, these big events that we get so caught up in that desensitize us to stuff. And it gets worse with each generation. And it's telling you, this show could not have existed without them prepping us. And of course, these aren't the only shows that have prepped us. And TV isn't the only medium that's been used to prep us. But I just thought this was really interesting. And before we close this out, I think we should take a good look at Garth Ennis. Let's see who the guy, the mind behind this mess is. Here we can see the premise of the show, / the comic. Preacher tells the story of Jesse Custer, a preacher in the small Texas town of Annville. Custer is accidentally possessed by the supernatural creature named Genesis, the infant product of the unauthorized, unnatural coupling of an angel and a demon. The incident flattens Custer's church and kills his entire congregation. Genesis has no sense of individual will, but since it is composed of both pure goodness and pure evil, its power might rival that of God himself, making Jesse Custer, bonded to Genesis, potentially the most powerful being in the universe. Right away, I'm not trying to come off preachy, but it's pretty blasphemous. This is rough. And this is just the premise. I know this guy's work, which is why I hopped over here to show you. And I know it could be much worse. And they're going around, the United States, as we can see here, literally trying to find God, who abandoned heaven the moment Genesis was born. And we're about to get this in TV show form. I just want to show you another comic series that Garth Ennis wrote. When I found out that Garth Ennis, I recognized the name immediately. When I found out he was the one behind the show Preacher, and I had never heard of that comic, I was floored. I was like, this is about to be some mess. I don't really know if this guy should ever have any of his work on TV, or, at least not on cable television, because the show will be coming on AMC. His stuff's pretty rough. And I would tell you to go check this series out, but if you want to get some type of an idea, but I have to warn you ahead of time. It is not, I repeat, not for the faint of heart. Okay? It's so bad that as I was reading it, I had to take breaks. I could not sit there and just read the issue straight across. It's that bad. And you can go ahead and see here, we got a little bit of Alan Moore happening. If you're familiar with Alan Moore's work, then you know as well, really dark stuff. And this particular series is about a virus that takes over humanity rapidly. I think in like a 2-week period, it took over the earth. And the virus completely eliminates any of your inhibitions and makes you carry out your darkest thoughts. So yeah, you're in for it. And this is the guy behind it. But yeah, I just thought this whole thing was interesting, and it just kind of gives you a little glimpse into something that we've already figured out, that a lot of researchers have figured out, that you've probably figured out yourself by now. And I thought I'd share it with you. I personally will not be watching this, but if you watch it and you see anything, please be sure to share it with the community. Let us know, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of agenda pushed in it. So thank you for watching, and this has been Know Our Knowledge, and I'm going to need you to wake up.